Israel is at war. This terrible, terrible war with Iran has a terrible price. It's not a war that Israel wanted, but let me tell you, this war with Iran is different to any other war with a couple of things. First of all, it's the greatest threat to Israel that ever existed. A nuclear threat from Iran is something that pales any other threats that happened. Egyptian exile, the Ottoman exile, the Greeks, even Hitler, Stalin, they never had a nuclear weapon. A nuclear weapon would decimate, destroy Israel, so it's the greatest threat to ever face Israel. That's number one. Number two, why do they hate us? You know, with Hamas, with Hezbollah, with other enemies that we have faced throughout our history, we've shared a border with them. We understand they were afraid of the Jews. They were afraid that we'd grow bigger. Even with Egypt, the Torah says that the reason why Pharaoh went to war, enslaved the Jews, is because he saw them multiplying at a rapid pace, and he was afraid that if there's going to be a war, they'll be the fifth column. They'll side with our enemies. But Iran is 1,500 kilometers away from the border of Israel. They share no border. There's absolutely no reason in the world why they should hate us. Why would they build a nuclear weapon and threaten us time and time again? And unleash on October 7 all their proxies against us? It makes no sense. And today I want to share with you what it says in the Torah. On the week that this war started. So this is the parsha we read in Beha'alotcha. I'm going to read it to you, which is going to explain why they hate us. Here's what the Torah says. First of all, this is a reading that we read every single time we take out the ark. Every time. That means on a Monday morning, Thursday morning, Saturday morning, and Shabbat afternoon, when we take out the Torah, and any other holiday, we say, Vayehi bin so Aharon vayomer Moshe, which means when the ark was transported, Moses said the following words, Kuma Hashem. By the way, the ark would always go out with the Jews in war. It was actually one time that the ark was captured by the Plishtim, by the Plishtim living in Israel at the time. They actually brought it to their city and they placed it in front of their god, Dagon. And during the night, this Dagon god, they put the ark next to it. The Dagon god they woke up in the morning, they saw the Dagon god had its legs and arms chopped off and it was lying flat on the face in front of the ark. And also the Plishtim in that village suffered terrible illness, like hemorrhoids. They passed it on to another town, and another town, another town. All these 5 Plishti towns, they all suffered terrible illnesses until they put it on a wagon and 2 cows, and the 2 cows just transported it back to Israel. But it's a very, very holy item. So it says like this, Kuma Hashem, get up God, v'yafutzu oivecha, and your enemies should be scattered, v'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha, those who hate you shall go and be scattered from you. And the question is, Moses calls those who hate you God. He doesn't say our enemies. He says God's enemies. What does he mean? So Rashi explains here a beautiful explanation on anti-Semitism on Iran. He says like this, Mesanecha, your enemies, God's enemies, Elu Sonei Israel, this refers to the Jews' enemies. Shekol HaSonei et Israel, anybody who hates a Jew, Sonei et mi she'amar v'haya ha'olam, hates God. This is one of the most powerful lines you'll ever hear. Those who hate Jews hate God. You cannot be religious if you hate a Jew. Because if you hate a Jew, you hate God. And we say this every single time we open the ark and we read from the Torah. Moses says, let your enemies be scattered. Let those who hate you run away. Why does he say you, God? Why doesn't he say our enemies? Because he makes it clear. If you want to be religious, if you want to be a devout person believing in God, you cannot hate Jews. Because by hating Jews, you're actually hating God. And I want to also point out that in the same parsha that we read yesterday, it says something unbelievable about this war as well. By the way, the war broke out on Friday, June 13th, right? Friday the 13th in the secular world may be like a terrible day, bad omens, but in the Jewish world, Friday, June 13th, June is 6, 13th is 1-3, 613. That's actually a beautiful day, 613, the 613 mitzvot, right? But here's what it says, and I'm going to quote it for you because it's so beautiful. Here's the Bible. We read yesterday in the Parsha, this past Shabbat, when there's going to be a war in your land, in Israel. On the person who, your enemy that's trying to inflict pain on you. You will blow in the trumpets like they blew in the trumpets with the shofar in the Kotel on the western wall. You should remember God, your God. You will be saved from your enemies. When we pray to God, when we turn to God, God saves us from our enemies. This is unbelievable. This is in the same 613, right? 613 week, the Friday that the war broke out. We read this in the Parsha. Uncanny and beautiful. And finally, the Medrash says, the year, B'shah shemelech HaMashiach ba, the year that the Messiah comes, there's going to be a king from Persia, from Iran, that's going to fight against you. And Messiah will stand on the roof of the temple, and he will say, "Bona higia zman geulaschem," the time for your redemption has come. There's no doubt that all the events that are transpiring in the world now, the wars that are going on all over the world, is all a prelude to the coming of Mashiach. Mashiach is coming today. He's coming right now. He's right here, right around the corner. Open up your eyes. Let's believe in him, because he is coming.